Good Monday morning. Do you remember when you first fell in love? Maybe it was your first love, or when you first fell in love with your spouse. Um, you did crazy things. Your brain turned to mush. You acted like an idiot. You couldn't wait to be with them. You didn't need food. Or you would sit on the phone, and this was before you had FaceTime if you're as old as some of us, and you'd be like, you hang up, and then they'd be, no, you hang up, no, you, no, we'll just lay here and listen to each other's breathe. It was just captivating waters. And this week we were studying in the Bible study. I'm leading the letter to the letter to the church of Ephesus in Revelation. It's the first letter to the first church in Revelation 2. And he's commending all these good things about them. They're hard workers, they're diligent, they're enduring in a challenging spiritual environment. They're discerning people that are trying to come into their church and do false things. He said, but I hold this against you. You've forsaken your first love. So they had gotten really good at doing church and programs and religious activities, but somewhere along the line they had lost the passion that first love holds. And he said, if you don't return, then I'm going to remove your lampstand. He was basically saying, if you don't come back to what matters most, you will no longer have the impact that you once had, because this was the largest church in the area. So we're here in the beginning of a year, still sitting in the first month of 2024. And it's just a good time to take stock of our hearts. So I want to ask you, do you remember what it felt like when you first came to Jesus and you were in a love relationship with him? And he said this, he said, I want you to remember the height from which you have fallen, because we may look at it and think, yeah, I'm not that far away. And he's like, no, when you've left your first love, it's a great fall. And you're setting yourself up for dangerous territory. So what would it look like to create an atmosphere to fall in love with Jesus all over again? I've been in the habit for well over a decade of setting aside the first part of my year to seek the Lord in a very intentional and deep way. And what I've discovered is that during that time, it's kind of like, as the year went on last year, maybe I read too much news and it got me afraid, or maybe I did too much of this and not enough of this. And it's like all of a sudden I come back into that place in the first part of the year and I realign my focus on him. I don't watch as much news. I fast some things. I don't open social media at the beginning of the day. I don't even try my best not to look at my phone before I've had my time with him. And I just find my heart going back to where it belongs. So, what are some things you may need to cultivate in this first part of the year to help you remember and to bring you back to a first love place? I think those are really good questions at the beginning of a new year. He said, remember the height from which you have fallen and repent, because if you don't repent, I'm going to remove your lampstand. I don't know about you, but I don't want my influence diminished. And we're living in a really dark time, and the only thing that expels darkness is light. I want to remain light.